The observation deck of the Valiant Dawn hummed with the soft vibration of its engines as Lyra Voss unrolled her worn yoga mat on the polished floor. The human woman had claimed this quiet corner of the interspecies vessel as her morning sanctuary, a place where she could maintain her routines. Despite being millions of light years from Earth, she had no idea she was being watched behind a semi-transparent partition designed for the ship's younger passengers. 3 Kryn cubs crouched in fascination. Their amber eyes, large and luminous in their feline faces, tracked every movement the strange bipedal creature made. The Kryn were apex predators from the forest moon of Tyraxis IV, a species that had only recently joined the Galactic Coalition. Their adults stood nearly 8 feet tall, with retractable claws and instincts, honed by millennia of hunting. But these were cubs, barely past their first molt, and their curiosity far outweighed their caution. "What is the human doing?" whispered Kessa, the smallest of the 3, her striped tail twitching nervously. "Battle preparation," Turek declared with the confidence of someone who had lived all of 6 standard years. His orange and black fur bristled with excitement. "My sire says humans are warriors. She must be training." The 3rd cub, Morin, tilted his head. "But there's no opponent. No practice dummy." No, his words died as Lyra transitioned into downward dog. Her body forming an inverted V, she held the position, breathing deeply, completely unaware of her audience. "Look!" Turek's claws extended involuntarily. "She's preparing for an attack from below. See how she watches the ground?" Lyra shifted into cobra pose, arching her back with fluid grace. Her eyes closed as she focused on the stretch along her spine, the gentle pull in her shoulders. This was the part of her day she cherished most. 20 minutes of peace before her shift in xenobiology began. "She's being attacked," Kessa squeaked, pressing her face against the partition. "Something invisible is pulling her down." Turek's predatory instincts flared. Every lesson from his parents, every story of Kryn honor and duty, crystallized in that moment. A member of their crew, a smaller, weaker creature, was clearly in distress. The human's face showed strain as she held warrior's pose, balanced on one leg with arms extended. "We have to help her," Turek growled, his young voice cracking with determination. "But we're not supposed to leave the youth quarters without—" Morin began. Turek was already moving. The partition's emergency release was designed to be cub-proof. But Turek's species had been engineering workarounds to parental restrictions since the dawn of their civilization. 3 seconds and 1 bent claw later, they were free. Lyra had just transitioned into triangle pose when she heard the sound, a chittering war cry that evolution had designed to freeze prey in their tracks. Her eyes snapped open to see 3 Kryn cubs charging across the observation deck like furry missiles. "What the?" Turek reached her first, leaping with impressive height for someone barely 3 feet tall. He positioned himself between Lyra and the floor, tiny claws extended, scanning for the invisible enemy that must be attacking this vulnerable human. "Stay behind me, human Lyra," he yipped in heavily accented standard. "Turek protects." Kessa flanked left, her small body tense and ready. Morin took the right, completing what they clearly believed was a defensive formation. Lyra froze in her pose, one hand touching the ground, the other reaching skyward, completely baffled. Cubs? What are you— Don't move," Kessa commanded, her young voice fierce. "We see it pulling at you." The invisible enemy. Comprehension crashed over Lyra like a wave. She looked down at her stretched position, then at the 3 cubs who had somehow interpreted her yoga routine as mortal combat. A laugh bubbled up in her chest, but she suppressed it barely. The cubs were dead serious, their predatory instincts fully engaged despite their size. "Where is it?" Turek demanded, his head swiveling. "Where is the thing that attacks you?" Lyra carefully lowered herself to sit cross-legged on the mat. All 3 cubs immediately pressed closer, forming a protective circle around her. Their warmth and the soft rumble of their protective growls were oddly touching. "Cubs," she said gently, "I wasn't being attacked." Turek's ears flattened in confusion. "But you were in distress positions?" "Your body was bent in submission stances. Your face showed strain." "Yeah," Morin added, his tail lashing. "We saw you struggling against invisible forces. Humans are small and weak, no offense, so we thought something was hurting you." Lyra bit back another laugh. That's very brave of you, but I was stretching. It's called yoga. Humans do it to keep our bodies flexible and our minds calm. 3 pairs of amber eyes blinked at her in perfect synchronization. You choose to put yourself in painful positions? Kessa asked slowly. For fun? Well, it's not exactly painful. It's more like, Lyra paused, searching for words that would make sense to juvenile predators. You know how you cubs wrestle and play fight to build your hunting skills? Turek nodded enthusiastically. This is like that, but for my body's flexibility instead of fighting. I'm training my muscles and joints, but there's no enemy. Just me and gravity. The cubs processed this information with visible difficulty. Morin's tail had stopped lashing. Kessa's aggressive stance relaxed into something more like confusion. But Turek brave, impulsive Turek looked almost disappointed. So ... You're not in danger? No danger, Lyra confirmed, smiling. But I really appreciate you 3 trying to protect me. That was very courageous. A new voice cut through the moment like a blade. CUBS, all 3 youngsters flattened instantly, their ears back, tails tucked. A fully grown Kryn female strode onto the observation deck, her 9-foot frame radiating maternal fury. This, Lyra knew, was Guardian Shessa, the cubs keeper on this voyage. They meant well, Lyra said quickly, standing up. Even at her full height, she barely reached the Kryn's chest. They thought I was being attacked and came to help. Shessa's golden eyes softened fractionally as she looked down at Lyra, then hardened again as she surveyed the 3 guilty cubs. The emergency partition was sealed for a reason. Turek, I believe your claw work was involved? Turek's ears somehow flattened even further. However, Shessa continued, and something like pride crept into her rumbling voice. You acted to defend a crewmate you believed to be in danger. This shows honor, even if your assessment was ... incorrect. They were very brave, Lyra added. Turek especially. He put himself between me and what he thought was a threat. Turek's chest puffed out slightly. Shessa sighed, a sound like wind through ancient trees. Come, cubs. You will explain to Captain Veers why you violated 3 safety protocols. She paused at the partition, looking back. Human Lyra, perhaps you might visit the youth quarters sometime? I believe these 3 could benefit from understanding more of your species' customs. Before they rescue you again. After they left, Lyra sat back down on her mat, shaking her head with a grin. She'd been on interspecies vessels for 2 years, but this was a first. She pulled out her comm and began recording a message to her sister back on Earth. You won't believe what just happened. 3 alien tiger cubs just tried to save me from my morning yoga routine. The valiant dawn hummed onward through the stars, carrying its cargo of humans, Kryn, and 100 other species, all learning, sometimes clumsily, how to live together. And in the youth quarters, 3 cubs listened with rapt attention as Guardian Shessa explained the bizarre concept of voluntary physical discomfort for wellness. Turek, of course, was already planning how to incorporate this intelligence into his future protection strategies. After all, next time human Lyra might actually need help, and he would be ready.